माननीय मुख्य न्यायाधीश ऑनरेबल जस्टिस आप सभी को बहुत बहुत बधाई इस बेहतरीन शुरुआत की। ये लॉबी है जहाँ फ्लैग फहराने शहीद करेंगे डॉक्टर जस्टिस चंद्रचूड़ चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया। के बाद कुछ एरियाज हैं जो खासतौर पर चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया विजिट करेंगे, इसके माध्यम से इसमें इंटरनेशनल एजुकेशन सेंटर की भी व्यवस्था है, इसमें एजुकेशन रूम्स हैं, डबल रूम्स हैं और फुल कोर्ट फैसिलिटी के साथ एक जुडिशियल कन्वेंशन सेंटर भी है इसमें, और साथ ही साथ 200 से भी ज़्यादा लॉयर्स के जो चेंबर्स हैं वो भी इसमें इनका प्रावधान किया गया है। कॉमन मीटिंग रूम्स, शेयर्ड फैसिलिटीज़ हैं, लॉयर्स के लिए कैफेटेरिया भी है, बहुत ही खूबसूरत सा सुंदर सा। और इस बिल्डिंग में सभी फ्लोर्स पर एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ऑफिसेज हैं। पार्किंग के लिए 3 बेसमेंट्स हैं, 300 से भी ज़्यादा गाड़ियों की पार्किंग की उसमें सुविधा मिलती है। और जहां हम यहाँ बैठे हुए जिस ऑडिटोरियम में लगभग 285 285 की इसकी कैपेसिटी है, ये खूबसूरत ऑडिटोरियम भी इसी एस ब्लॉक का हिस्सा है। दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट की बिल्डिंग मेंटेनेंस और कंस्ट्रक्शन कमेटी ने ऑनरेबल चेयरमैन ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस मनमोहन के मार्गदर्शन में ये सुनिश्चित किया कि ये बिल्डिंग क्लाइमेट चेंज रेजिलियंस से इसके बचाव के सारे प्रावधान उसमें हों, फायर सेफ्टी के प्रावधान हैं, इसके अलावा यूनिवर्सल एक्सेसिबिलिटी के सभी प्रावधानों को प्रोविजंस को भी इसमें फॉलो किया गया है। और इन सारे प्रयासों में बीएमसीसी के माननीय सदस्यों ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस राजीव शक्टर, ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस दिनेश शर्मा और ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस जसमीत सिंह का भरपूर सहयोग और मार्गदर्शन मिला है।
आगे ना
ये फुल कोर्ट फैसिलिटी के साथ एक जुडिशियल कन्वेंशन सेंटर।
उधर है, उधर आगे जाने ही नहीं देंगे। देखो एक बार जाके इधर सीधा सीधा जाओ, सीधा 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 जाओ जाओ। हाँ हाँ ठीक सर, वो आ रहे हैं। सर थोड़ा सा साइड में जाइएगा, आ रहे हैं। भग जा ऊपर, भग जा, नहीं जाने देंगे यहाँ पे। जा रहा है ऊपर, जा रहा है, सीढ़ी से जा रहा है। ये जाने ही नहीं देंगे भाई, मैं अंदर जा रहा हूँ, मेरे को ना घुसने नहीं देंगे वरना।
Show you one. So how many chambers? 270. Sir, 270. Can you imagine? August 92. Meeting. अच्छा, August 92. मेरा नंबर नहीं आया है।
लाइट पे जाना ऊपर।
Show you one.
Oh, lawyer's chamber.
Sir, there used to be a demand, sir, that जो हमारे old chambers थे, later on we had started dividing them into two, so that there was a double occupancy.
Lawyer's chamber.
So this is single occupancy. So this is single occupancy.
Right. 207. Such है.
मैं तो
बाहर प्रेसिडेंट कहाँ है?
सर मेरे साथ
आपका चैम्बर कहाँ है?
सर मेरे में अलॉट नहीं हुआ अभी तक।
नंबर नहीं आया।
आपका पुराना पड़ा है।
सर मेरे को डैड का है।
All chambers are single occupancy.
Single occupancy.
And should it have been done if can be created a little corner at the end of the passage?
That's what
Not yet done.
we have a place.
On every passage we have done that, so that we can have the chief of the.
And sir, we have
20 lawyers which
only, sir, what we have done is sir, odd spaces, sir. The odd spaces which were coming out, we requested the architecture to adjust it with one chamber and make a large room using the aisle area and make a large room for consultation room, so that more people can then fit in. So that way, on a rotational basis, we can have larger number of people using it. At least the younger lot.
बहुत है दिल्ली में lawyers का संख्या बहुत है।
We are a litigant society है तो lawyers हो रही है।
बहुत ही ज़्यादा।
सबसे बड़ा litigant कौन है? देश का सबसे बड़ा litigant।
करेक्ट हम लोग 2000 लोग अंदर चल ही नहीं सकते हैं
We had a wonderful question.
हाँ
Question is, which is the chamber where you can smoke?
Who asked this relevant question? Remember, sir, who asked? We really connect very well.
Hopefully didn't go further.
आप सभी का स्वागत अभिनंदन करते हुए निवेदन आप सभी से है, कृपया अपना अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें। भारत के माननीय मुख्य न्यायाधीश माननीय डॉक्टर जस्टिस DY चंद्रचूड़ का हम सब के बीच शुभागमन होने वाला है। आप सभी से प्रार्थना है कि आप सभी अपना अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें। आप सभी से रिक्वेस्ट है, जो लोग खड़े हैं प्लीज आप सभी बैठ जाएं अपनी अपनी जगह पर। आप सबसे रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप सभी अपना अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें। एंट्रेंस पर या हॉल में जो लोग खड़े हैं उनसे एक बार विनती है, करबद्ध प्रार्थना है, प्लीज आप सभी बैठ जाएं। देव्य सज्जनों, भारत के माननीय मुख्य न्यायाधीश डॉक्टर जस्टिस DY चंद्रचूड़, आप सभी का हार्दिक स्वागत अभिनंदन निवेदन। कार्यक्रम के आरंभ में हम सब राष्ट्रगान के लिए अपने स्थान पर ही खड़े होंगे। आइए राष्ट्रगान के प्रति सम्मान स्वरूप हम अपने स्थान पर शामिल हों राष्ट्रगान में।
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा। विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा। तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे। गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
बहुत बहुत आभार आप सभी का। आप सभी से निवेदन अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें। दिव्य सज्जनों, दिल्ली उच्च न्यायालय के एस ब्लॉक भवन के उद्घाटन अवसर पर हार्दिक स्वागत अभिनंदन भारत के माननीय मुख्य न्यायाधीश ऑनरेबल डॉक्टर जस्टिस DY चंद्रचूड़ का, जिनकी गरिमामयी उपस्थिति से हम सब अभिभूत हैं और जिनके शुभ कर कमलों से आज इस भवन का उद्घाटन हुआ है। एक बार आप सबकी करतल ध्वनि के साथ उनका वंदन, अभिनंदन और हार्दिक स्वागत। इस अवसर पर विशिष्ट अतिथि गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर के रूप में मंच पर गरिमामयी उपस्थिति है भारत सरकार के माननीय विधि और न्याय मंत्री श्री किरेन रिजिजू और हाउसिंग एंड अर्बन अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर श्री हरदीप सिंह पुरी जी का, उनका भी हार्दिक स्वागत अभिनंदन इस अवसर पर। सर्वोच्च न्यायालय के माननीय जज ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस संजय किशन कौल, राष्ट्रीय राजधानी क्षेत्र दिल्ली के उपराज्यपाल श्री विनय कुमार सक्सेना जी, मुख्यमंत्री श्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की गरिमामयी उपस्थिति को भी हम नमन करते हैं। उनका हार्दिक स्वागत अभिनंदन है यहाँ इस अवसर पर उनकी उपस्थिति के लिए। दिल्ली उच्च न्यायालय के मुख्य न्यायाधीश ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस सतीश चंद्र शर्मा, जज ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस मनमोहन, चेयरमैन दिल्ली हाईकोर्ट BMC कमेटी, दिल्ली हाईकोर्ट बार एसोसिएशन के प्रेसिडेंट श्री मोहित माथुर जी, यहाँ सभागार में उपस्थित सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऑनरेबल जजेस, हाईकोर्ट के ऑनरेबल जजेस और आप सभी का हम हार्दिक स्वागत अभिनंदन करते हैं। आप सभी का वंदन, आप सभी को हार्दिक बधाई भी आज के इस खूबसूरत भवन के उद्घाटन कार्यक्रम में और इस उद्घाटन के लिए। I will request Honorable Chief Justice of India and other dignitaries on the dais to proceed for lighting of the lamp. मैं निवेदन करूंगा माननीय मुख्य न्यायाधीश और मंचासीन सभी विभूतियों से कि आप सभी दीप प्रज्वलित करने के लिए पधारें। ऑनरेबल भारत के माननीय मुख्य न्यायाधीश ऑनरेबल डॉक्टर जस्टिस DY चंद्रचूड़ और सभी गणमान्य विभूतियां जो इस समय मंच पर हम सबकी गरिमा इस कार्यक्रम की शोभा के रूप में विराजमान हैं, वो अपने कार्यक्रमों से दीप प्रज्वलित करेंगे इस मंच पर इस शुभ अवसर पर। जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया डॉक्टर जस्टिस DY चंद्रचूड़ और सभी डिग्निटरीज का उनके इस कृपा, उनके स्नेह के लिए। न्याय की पूरी प्रक्रिया कल्याणकारी हो, भारत के लोगों के लिए सुखमय मार्ग का और जीवन का आधार बने, इस विश्वास के साथ मैं निवेदन करूंगा ऑनरेबल चीफ जस्टिस दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट मिस्टर जस्टिस सतीश चंद्र शर्मा जी से कि वे आज के हमारे मुख्य अतिथि जिन्होंने अपने कर कमलों से इस सुंदर भव्य भवन का उद्घाटन किया है, ऑनरेबल चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया डॉक्टर जस्टिस DY चंद्रचूड़, जो हम सब के लिए हमेशा प्रेरणा का स्रोत होते हैं, उन्हें इस अवसर पर उनका अभिनंदन करें, इस अवसर पर उनका स्वागत करें, उन्हें प्लांट भेंट करके। ऑनरेबल चीफ जस्टिस दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट डॉक्टर मिस्टर जस्टिस सतीश चंद्र शर्मा जी। करतल ध्वनि आप सबकी तरफ से, और इस अभिनंदन में बहुत बहुत अभिभूत हैं, हमें बहुत बहुत स्वागत है, अभिनंदन है ऑनरेबल चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया डॉक्टर जस्टिस DY चंद्रचूड़ का। निवेदन करूंगा ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस सिद्धार्थ मृदुल से कि वे हम सबके बीच मंच पर विराजमान भारत सरकार के विधि और न्याय मंत्री श्री किरेन रिजिजू का, इसके बाद वहां पर स्वागत अभिनंदन करेंगे उनका भी। माननीय ऑनरेबल चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया के स्वागत के बाद अब ये अवसर है जब ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस सिद्धार्थ मृदुल स्वागत करेंगे श्री किरेन रिजिजू, विधि एवं न्याय मंत्री भारत सरकार, ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर ऑफ लॉ एंड जस्टिस गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया। बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपकी उपस्थिति के लिए, आपका वंदन, आपका अभिनंदन सर। निवेदन करूंगा ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस राजीव शक्तर से कि वे ऑनरेबल हरदीप सिंह पुरी जी, क्षमा करें, ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस मनमोहन से मैं निवेदन करूंगा कि हरदीप सिंह पुरी जी, ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर फॉर हाउसिंग एंड अर्बन अफेयर्स गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, उनकी गरिमामयी उपस्थिति इस अवसर पर है, उनका हार्दिक स्वागत अभिनंदन इस अवसर पर, उनकी उपस्थिति के लिए, उनके हर तरह के सहयोग और समर्थन के लिए श्री हरदीप सिंह पुरी जी। बहुत बहुत स्वागत अभिनंदन है श्री हरदीप सिंह पुरी जी का उनकी उपस्थिति के लिए। निवेदन करूंगा ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस राजीव शक्तर से कि ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस संजय किशन कौल जी, ऑनरेबल जज सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया, उनकी गरिमामयी उपस्थिति के लिए, उनका इस अवसर पर मंच पर उनकी उपस्थिति है, इस कार्यक्रम में हम सब अभिभूत हैं, उनका इस अवसर पर स्वागत करें प्लांट भेंट करके और शॉल भेंट करके ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस संजय किशन कौल जी का। निवेदन करूंगा ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस सुरेश कुमार कैद से कि दिल्ली के माननीय उपराज्यपाल श्री विनय कुमार सक्सेना जी, जिनकी गरिमामयी उपस्थिति है इस अवसर पर मंच पर, उनका यहाँ पर उनके आगमन के लिए, उनकी गरिमामयी उपस्थिति के लिए उनका स्वागत करें ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस सुरेश कुमार कैद। प्लांट के साथ साथ शॉल भेंट करके भी उनका अभिनंदन है इस अवसर पर उनकी उपस्थिति के लिए। निवेदन करूंगा दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट बार एसोसिएशन के प्रेसिडेंट मोहित माथुर जी से कि वे माननीय मुख्यमंत्री श्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की उनकी गरिमामयी उपस्थिति के लिए इस अवसर पर उनका स्वागत करें, उनका अभिनंदन करें, उन्हें एक प्लांट भेंट करके और साथ ही शॉल भेंट करके इस अवसर पर उनकी उपस्थिति के लिए उनका अभिनंदन हम सब की तरफ से। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री राष्ट्रीय राजधानी क्षेत्र दिल्ली श्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी। बहुत बहुत स्वागत है माननीय मुख्यमंत्री महोदय का। मैं निवेदन करूंगा ऑनरेबल मिस जस्टिस मुक्ता गुप्ता जी से कि वो मंच पर पधार कर हम सबके बीच यहाँ गरिमामयी उपस्थिति है सामने सभागार में सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऑनरेबल जज ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस संजीव खन्ना जी की, उनको वहां पर हार्दिक स्वागत अभिनंदन करें। ऑनरेबल मिस जस्टिस मुक्ता गुप्ता, उनसे मैं प्रार्थना करूंगा कि आपकी करतल ध्वनि के साथ ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस संजीव खन्ना जी का स्वागत, उनका अभिनंदन इस अवसर पर उनकी उपस्थिति के लिए। मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस नजमी वजीरी कि वे हम सब के बीच यहां विराजमान सुप्रीम कोर्ट के माननीय जज ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस BR गवई का भी हार्दिक स्वागत अभिनंदन करें उनकी उपस्थिति के लिए। हम सब अभिभूत हैं ऐसी विभूतियों की यहां उपस्थिति से, और इस अवसर पर हार्दिक स्वागत अभिनंदन है ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस BR गवई का। मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस संजीव सचदेवा जी से कि वे हम सब के बीच विराजमान सुप्रीम कोर्ट के माननीय जज ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस ASO का उनका हार्दिक स्वागत अभिनंदन करें उनकी उपस्थिति के लिए। इस कार्यक्रम में आप पधारे, यह हम सब के लिए बहुत सौभाग्य की बात है। बहुत बहुत स्वागत है सर। दिल्ली हाईकोर्ट के BMCC मेंबर के रूप में ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस जसमीत सिंह से मैं निवेदन करूंगा कि वो हम सब के बीच यहां विराजमान ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस विक्रमनाथ जी, ऑनरेबल जज सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया, उनका इस अवसर पर स्वागत अभिनंदन करें। बहुत बहुत स्वागत है, बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन है, आपकी गरिमामय उपस्थिति को हम वंदन करते हैं। और BMCC के मेंबर के रूप में ही ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस DK शर्मा जी स्वागत करेंगे हम सब के बीच यहाँ विराजमान ऑनरेबल मिस जस्टिस हिमा कोहली जी का, जिनकी गरिमामय उपस्थिति इस अवसर पर इस सभागार में है हम सब के बीच। बहुत बहुत स्वागत, बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन है। मैं निवेदन करूंगा वाइफ ऑफ चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट मिसेस मीता शर्मा जी से कि वे हम सब के बीच विराजमान श्रीमती निर्मला कुलकर्णी जी, जो समय निकालकर हम सब के बीच बहुत ही स्नेह के साथ पधारी हैं, उनका इस अवसर पर हार्दिक स्वागत अभिनंदन करें। मिसेस मीता शर्मा जी से निवेदन है। बहुत बहुत स्वागत अभिनंदन श्रीमती निर्मला कुलकर्णी का। निवेदन करूंगा मिसेस नूतन, वाइफ ऑफ मिस्टर जस्टिस मनमोहन, कि वे हम सब के बीच विराजमान आदरणीय दिलीप कुलकर्णी जी का स्वागत, उनका अभिनंदन करें इस अवसर पर उनकी उपस्थिति के लिए, उनके स्नेह के लिए। यहाँ पधार कर उन्होंने हम सबका जो हम सबको आशीष दिया है उसके लिए बहुत बहुत स्वागत अभिनंदन आदरणीय दिलीप कुलकर्णी जी का। बहुत बहुत आभार सभी का, बहुत बहुत स्वागत अभिनंदन पुनः। निवेदन करूंगा दिल्ली उच्च न्यायालय के मुख्य न्यायाधीश ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस सतीश चंद्र शर्मा जी से कि वे आप सबका स्वागत करने के लिए पधारें। ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस सतीश चंद्र शर्मा।
Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Chief Justice of India, Honorable Shri Kiren Rijiju, Union Minister of Law and Justice, Honorable Shri Hardeep Singh Puri, Union Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs, Honorable Shri Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Judge Supreme Court of India, Honorable Shri Justice Sanjeev Khanna, Judge Supreme Court of India, Honorable Shri Justice B.R. Gawai, Judge Supreme Court of India, Honorable Shri ASO, Judge Supreme Court of India, Honorable Shri Justice Vikram Nath, Judge Supreme Court of India, Honorable Justice Hema Kohli, Judge Supreme Court of India, His Excellency Shri Vinay Kumar Saxena, Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, Honorable Shri Arvind Kejriwal, Chief Minister of Delhi, my sister and brother, Judges of the High Court of Delhi, Mr. Dilip Kulkarni, Mrs. Nirmala Kulkarni, President and other office bearers of Delhi High Court Bar Association, senior advocates, judicial officers from the district judiciary, officers and officials of the registry of this court, advocates, and all other who are in attendance today. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome you all today. This day marks the culmination of a long-standing desire of a state-of-art building in the premises of High Court to accommodate the ever-expanding requirements of the registry of this court, as well as to accommodate the legitimate demand of chambers for members of the bar. The S Block is a milestone in the long journey of Delhi High Court. In 1966, the foundation stone of this court was laid after persistent demands for a separate High Court in the capital city of Delhi. Initially, the Delhi High Court functioned from Bangalore number 4 at Maulana Azad Road, then Travancore House at KG Marg, and then from Patiala House at India Gate Circle, before finally shifting to its permanent place here in this complex. It's a moment for us to reminisce the journey of this court, which has transformed itself from a circuit bench of Punjab High Court in the 1960s to this leading institution steering the wheel of justice in the capital city. Today, I am also reminded of the vision of the then Chief Justice of India, Justice B.P. Sinha, who envisioned a separate High Court for Delhi as a model High Court, exclusive to the capital city of the country. With a keen focus on infrastructure and technology, I can confidently say that this court has journeyed well on the path decided for it and is constantly endeavoring to evolve as a model court as envisioned by the then Chief Justice of India. This new complex is another step in that direction. Today, the importance of judicial infrastructure cannot be sidelined. A court complex is a hub of multifarious activities wherein different stakeholders of the system interact with each other and strive to achieve the common goal of justice. For effective administration of justice, it's important that the officers and officials of the registry, as well as lawyers, are offered an environment conducive for productivity. Friends, buildings are designed on paper, but it takes boundless effort to convert those designs into a reality. I congratulate each and every person, the architects, the engineers, the laborers who have shaped this structure for us. I thank the dignitaries on the dais for taking out their valuable time today and extend my warmest welcome. Thank you and Jai Hind.
बहुत बहुत आभार ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस सतीश चंद्र शर्मा जी का उनके वेलकम एड्रेस के लिए। दिव्य सज्जनों, आज ऑनरेबल चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया के कर कमरों से जिस एस ब्लॉक का उद्घाटन हुआ है, ये बिल्डिंग अपने आप में एक बेंचमार्क है पब्लिक आर्किटेक्चर और जुडिशियल आर्किटेक्चर के तौर पर। मैं निवेदन करूंगा मैसेज TCS आर्किटेक्ट्स प्राइवेट लिमिटेड के डायरेक्टर मिस्टर गुरमीत सिंह चौहान से कि वो आएँ और इस एस ब्लॉक के बिल्डिंग के मेन फीचर्स, इसके कंस्ट्रक्शन में जो खास चीज़ें हैं वो आपके साथ शेयर करें, उसका विवरण हम सबके समक्ष रखें। मिस्टर गुरमीत सिंह चौहान।
A very good evening to everybody. Honorable Chief Justice of India, eminent dignitaries on the dais, eminent dignitaries in the audience, and my friends. We celebrate today the inauguration of what we call the S Block, and it sits right in the, architecturally speaking, the heart of India, right next to the India Gate. And as the architect, it's my privilege to share the constituents of the building and then also the values that informed its design. Now, this is a future-ready building It's designed on the principles of universal accessibility, for earthquake resilience, for the highest standards of fire safety. But very, very importantly, today is a very multitasking world. Humans are expected to be multitasking. A phone is expected to also be a camera, also be a music player. So this is a multifunctional block which comprises of the Delhi International Arbitration Center. It has 19 rooms and it's a facility which benchmarks with the best in the world. It has administrative offices spread across 6 floors, lawyers' chambers, about 200 plus lawyers' chambers with shared facilities for lawyers, common meeting rooms. We also have a full court convention center on the 6th and 7th floor with a breathtaking view of the city. In addition to that, we have an auditorium where all of us are seating and car parking for 300 cars, a visitor center on Dr. Zakir Hussain Marg, because currently most government buildings don't have a good way of bringing in visitors. We also have the office of an ACP and a constabulary for 100 people, the people who really guard this premises. Now, every generation of architects has to choose some problems that it addresses. And we have addressed 3 very important problems through the design here. Number 1, contextual architecture. Our cities are losing their cultural moorings, and it's very important, especially when you build in such haloed precincts around the India Gate, that there is a certain continuity of visual expression. So what we have done is we have chosen textured Dholpur stone and textured Agra stone, and even the same meter of stone has been employed, so that there is a continuity in the architectural language. Equally, we have jettisoned arches and domes and circular columns and chosen a more rectangular architecture with rectangular openings and a rectangular colonnade, much like a modern interpretation of what is otherwise a classical order. The second problem that our generation faces is climate change, and so we must design our buildings for climate change resilience. In addition to every green building which economizes on energy and water, we've actually focused on passive design, which the users can experience. So what you have is a solarium, a solar atrium in the heart of the building, which is cool in summer and warm in winter. It also has glare-free daylighting, so you really don't need to switch on lights. And you can keep your blinds up and enjoy the green view, something that most buildings in our city don't have to offer, because we've recessed the glazings deeply. The most important thing that impacts productivity is this building has 30% more fresh air. So you breathe pure air and you breathe fresh air, which impacts your productivity. Lastly, the third value that is very important is democratic architecture. The methodology that we have employed is a more bottom-up approach, where people who don't belong to a class of privilege find a voice in the design review meetings. So there is space equity. Even the simple work desk is a delightful place with a nice view. Chambers are modest, though they are well appointed. And very, very importantly, we have common washrooms as opposed to attached washrooms. And even drivers have clean access to washrooms in the basements. Now, all of this would not have been possible. So I'd like to thank the Government of India, the Government of Delhi, and very importantly, the PWD and all the regulatory authorities that helped make this happen. And of course, my team, which is sitting there in the audience. But most importantly, you need a guiding light. And here I'd like to thank the BMCC. And we are so fortunate that we have many past chairmen and members of the BMCC amongst us in the audience who really guided me through this process. And lastly, while this is a building that the Delhi High Court fraternity would use and it belongs to the government, eventually this is a national asset. And I'd like to offer a closing remark here, and I'll seek your indulgence to focus on the 3 sentences. Public architecture has a purpose, and its very purpose is to embellish purpose with beauty. Thank you very much. This is a tribute to our beloved nation and this institution that I've become really fond of. I hope I can continue to serve this institution in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Gurmeet Singh Chauhan. देव सज्जनों, जैसे कि आपने सुना, इस बिल्डिंग का पूरा स्ट्रक्चर, इसका एम्बियंस, इसके सराउंडिंग्स, एमिनिटीज़, ये सब यहाँ काम करने वाले लोगों की एफिशिएंसी को बढ़ाएंगी। और 200 से भी ज़्यादा जो लॉयर्स चैम्बर्स या दूसरी एमिनिटीज़ हैं, हमारे बार मेंबर्स को विशेष तौर पर इन सब का लाभ मिलेगा। हमारे लिए खुशी की बात है कि इस अवसर पर दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट बार एसोसिएशन के प्रेसिडेंट श्री मोहित माथुर जी की उपस्थिति है। मैं उनसे निवेदन करूंगा कि वे इस अवसर पर अपने संबोधन के लिए पधारें। श्री मोहित माथुर जी।
Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Shri Dhananjay Chandrachud ji, Honorable Union Minister for Law, Justice and Company Affairs, Shri Kiren Rijiju ji, Honorable Union Minister for Housing and Urban Affairs, Shri Hardeep Puri ji, Honorable Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul ji, Judge Supreme Court of India, the other Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court present today, His Excellency Shri Vinay Kumar Saxena ji, Honorable Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, the Honorable Chief Minister of Delhi, Shri Arvind Kejriwal ji, Honorable Chief Justice of our High Court, Shri Satish Chandra Sharma ji, the other Honorable Judges of our High Court, the learned Additional Solicitor General of India, Shri Chetan Sharma ji, Mr. Jatan Singh and Sandeep Sharma, Vice President, Honorary Secretary of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, former Presidents and Honorary Secretaries of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, members of the DHCBA Executive, present and former, Mr. Murari Tiwari, Chairman, and the other distinguished members of the Bar Council of Delhi, learned senior colleagues and dear friends, not to forget all the new allottees of these fine chambers you see in the newly constructed S block of Delhi High Court, all the officials from various government departments and the team of architects, builders and designers who have contributed in their respective ways to realize this long-awaited requirement of this court. Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to celebrate a historic moment, our beloved High Court, that was established in the adjoining premises with just 2 buildings 4.5 decades ago, is now seeing the addition of a 4th chamber block with the completion of the state-of-art Block S, this new Block 4, Chamber Block 4. First and foremost, on behalf of the entire Delhi High Court Bar Association, I express that we are indebted for the tireless pursuits by all those responsible for providing us with this spectacular facility. We had hoped to inaugurate this block over a year ago during the tenure of our previous executive committee, but were held back by pandemic and its fallout. And I say this for a reason. The members of the last executive committee had put in tremendous efforts during successive COVID lockdowns to check on the ongoing work here and ensured that the needs of the bar were met without compromising on the construction and completion of this building. Another fact that needs to be highlighted today is that this building we see today is the combined effort of my predecessors in office who had, through the Bar Association, filed petitions before the High Court in order to get this abundant piece of land allotted for this purpose. And on behalf of the future occupants, I must thank our past presidents and their respective executive committees for finally realizing this project. I sincerely hope, and on seeing the facilities, I'm sure that the long wait for this new block has been worth it. Currently, this block will be able to cater to applications which were made 3 decades ago, roughly the time when I joined this profession. It is trite to mention that for counsels, their chambers are a most essential requirement in the profession to cater to client interactions, drafting and preparation of cases. Goes without saying, a brief pit stop at our chambers between matters is no less than a luxury. The membership of lawyers practicing in the Delhi High Court has trebled, sir, in the last 12 years and has now grown to over 27,000 with a footfall of about 6,000 to 7,000 lawyers attending the court daily. About a decade ago, when I was the secretary of the Bar Association, this S block was conceptualized. The plans were drawn and finalized, and the foundational stone was laid in May 2013. Today, it is a proud moment for me to be standing here and receiving these chambers and the other facilities for the bar as the president of the association. I remember Justice Kaul and Justice Khanna being part of the building maintenance committee back then and used to find me haggling for small spaces for lawyers every time in the meetings. Justice Kohli would recall that the entire chamber plans had to be significantly altered to suit our needs during the lockdown of June 2020. I thank all the judges of the successive BMCCs who have put in extra efforts to come up with this building. Sir, besides the 200 plus regular chambers for the lawyers, we have been able to carve out 6 to 7 large additional common spaces which we have designed on the patterns of already existing consultation rooms and rotational conference spaces in our premises on each floor of this new block as well, to enable lawyers without private chambers to utilize the same for their day-to-day needs, examples, consultations, meetings, etc. Admittedly, the current availability of workspace for lawyers in the High Court may be woefully inadequate. Naturally, the availability and allotment of chambers is a hot topic discussed regularly in our corridors, and we have not been able to meet the demands for the same for the last 3 decades that I have been in this profession. Every president and secretary of the Bar Association is inundated with demands of our brethren to check the likely allotment of a chamber. I have faced these queries on a daily basis, and I'm sure that my predecessors sitting here, Mr. Chandok, Mr. Khosla, and Mr. Uppal, too, would have been called by the members on similar issues. Luckily today, I am privileged to be in a position to hand over at least some chambers to our members to get the ball rolling as far as the infrastructure expansion is concerned. Having said that, I would, on behalf of the members of the bar, seize the opportunity to request the dignitaries on the dais to ensure that necessary steps are taken in right earnest to meet the requirements of those still in waiting. We have been seeing an unprecedented boom in our profession in the last 2 decades, and the expansion of infrastructure ought to be commensurate with the expansion in the fraternity. I am reminded of an old ad line, "Ye dil mange more." Sir, I believe this yearning will remain constant. Once again, on behalf of the members of the bar and on my own behalf, I thank all the authorities, the Government of India, the Government of NCT of Delhi, honorable judges of the Supreme Court and Delhi High Court, for letting us fulfill a dream and their help in delivering this chamber block of sterling quality. With that, I thank you all for gracing this occasion with your presence to celebrate this moment with us. This chamber block, the beauty it is, surely will be a joy forever. Jai Hind.
थैंक यू मिस्टर मोहित माथुर जी। देवी सुजनों, हमें प्रसन्नता है इस बात की कि इस अवसर पर हम सबके बीच दिल्ली के माननीय मुख्यमंत्री श्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की गरिमामयी उपस्थिति है। मैं अब उनसे निवेदन करूंगा कि वे अपने संबोधन के लिए पधारें। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री महोदय।
Honorable Chief Justice of India, Shri Kiren Rijiju ji Sahab, Honorable Minister of Law and Justice, Shri Hardeep Puri Sahab, Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs, Honorable Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul ji, Honorable Judges of Supreme Court, His Excellency Vinay Kumar Saxena ji, Honorable Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, Honorable Chief Justice of Delhi High Court, Honorable Judges of Delhi High Court, Shri Mohit Mathur, Delhi High Court Bar Association President, members of the bar, ladies and gentlemen. आज हम सब लोगों के लिए बेहद खुशी का दिन है कि ये दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट का एस ब्लॉक का इनॉग्रेशन हुआ है। स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट ये ब्लॉक बहुत ही खूबसूरत ब्लॉक है। अभी जैसे आर्किटेक्ट साहब ने, गुरमीत सिंह चौहान जी ने हमें प्रेजेंटेशन दिया कि इसमें किस किस किस्म की फैसिलिटीज़ हैं। बहुत दिनों से पूरी बार को, पूरी जुडिशल फ्रेटर्निटी को इस ब्लॉक के इनॉग्रेशन का इंतज़ार था। हमारे लिए बहुत सौभाग्य की बात है कि आज चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया अपना कीमती समय निकाल पाए और उनके हाथों से आज इस ब्लॉक का इनॉग्रेशन हो रहा है। पिछले कुछ सालों में एज चीफ मिनिस्टर ऑफ दिल्ली मैंने कई जगह अलग अलग मौके पे मैं हमारी जो जुडिशरी की अलग अलग फैसिलिटीज़ बनी हैं उनका इनॉग्रेशन में मुझे मौजूद रहने का मौका मिला, उसका हिस्सा रहने का मौका मिला। कुछ साल पहले जो कॉमर्शियल कोर्ट्स बने थे दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट में, उसमें मैं मौजूद था। वो कॉमर्शियल कोर्ट्स भी बहुत शानदार कोर्ट्स बने हैं, जो भी देखता है वो अचंभे में दांतों तले उंगली दबा लेता है। थोड़े दिन पहले मैं कड़कड़डूमा कोर्ट गया था। कड़कड़डूमा कोर्ट में जस्टिस कौल साहब भी मौजूद थे वहाँ पे। वहाँ भी बहुत शानदार बिल्डिंग बनी थी, बहुत शानदार कोर्ट्स बने थे। और वहाँ पे किसी ने मजाक में बोला था अपने भाषण में कि हिंदी की फिल्मों में जो कोर्ट रूम दिखाया जाता था अभी तक, वो बड़ा टूटा फूटा होता था। अब दिल्ली की जुडिशरी में जिस तरह के कोर्ट रूम बनने लगे हैं, लगता है फिल्म वालों को अपने सेट्स बदलने पड़ेंगे और इस तरह के मॉडर्न कोर्ट रूम दिखाने पड़ेंगे। लेकिन हम सब लोग मानते हैं कि दिल्ली की जुडिशरी का जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, दैट इज़ वन ऑफ द बेस्ट इन द कंट्री। हमारे से पहले वाली सरकारों ने बहुत काम किया, हमने भी इस बारे में बहुत काम किया। हमारी भी टॉप मोस्ट प्रायोरिटी हमेशा जुडिशरी रहती है। ज़ाहिर तौर पे किसी भी सरकार के पास रिसोर्सेज की कमी रहती है, रिसोर्सेज लिमिटेड होते हैं, लेकिन प्रायोरिटी की बात होती है। जिस चीज़ की प्रायोरिटी होती है उसको रिसोर्सेज ज़्यादा दिए जाते हैं, जिस चीज़ की प्रायोरिटी कम होती है उसको रिसोर्सेज कम मिलते हैं। आपको ये जान के खुशी होगी कि जब हमारी सरकार बनी थी उसके पहले वाले साल में, फाइनेंशियल ईयर 13-14 में, दिल्ली जुडिशरी को दिल्ली सरकार से लगभग 500 करोड़ के फंड मिलते थे। पिछले साल ये 1500 करोड़ का फंड मिला है। तो पिछले 7 साल के अंदर लगभग 3 गुना पैसा दिल्ली सरकार से जुडिशरी को दे रहे हैं हम लोग। मैं ये नहीं कहूँगा कि ये सफिशिएंट है। अभी बहुत सारी डिमांड्स हैं दिल्ली की जुडिशरी की, उन सारी डिमांड्स को हम पूरा करने की कोशिश भी कर रहे हैं। लेकिन मैं समझता हूँ कि शायद पूरे देश में इतने बड़े स्तर के ऊपर फंड्स की बढ़ोतरी शायद ही कहीं देखी गई होगी। तो ये दिखाता है कि हमारी नीयत, जुडिशरी को जितना ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा दे सकें उतनी फंड्स देने की हमारी नीयत है। हमारी प्रायोरिटीज़ के अंदर जुडिशरी सबसे टॉप पे आती है। इंडिपेंडेंस ऑफ जुडिशरी तो तभी रहेगी जब उसके पास सफिशिएंट काम करने के लिए पैसा होगा। अगर जुडिशरी के पास सफिशिएंट काम करने के लिए पैसा नहीं होगा तो फिर वो इंडिपेंडेंट कैसे रह सकेगी। तो मैं एक तो ये आश्वासन देना चाहता हूँ कि हमारे लिमिटेड रिसोर्सेज के अंदर जितना बन पड़ेगा आने वाले समय में भी हम उतना पूरा फंड्स अवेलेबल कराते रहेंगे और किसी चीज़ की कोशिश करेंगे, किसी चीज़ की कमी नहीं होनी चाहिए। आज एक बड़ा अच्छा दृश्य है स्टेज के ऊपर कि स्टेज पे आज केंद्र सरकार भी मौजूद है, दिल्ली सरकार भी मौजूद है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट भी मौजूद है, हाई कोर्ट भी मौजूद है। ऐसा अद्भुत दृश्य कभी कभी देखने को मिलता है। तो मैं इस मौके का फ़ायदा उठा के एक छोटा सा इस देश के आम आदमी की तरफ से निवेदन रखना चाहूँगा। इस देश का आम आदमी न्याय के लिए न्यायालय के पास जाता है, जुडिशरी के पास जाता है। और हम सब लोग जानते हैं, ये कहावत तो बहुत बार सुनी है, जस्टिस डिलेड इज जस्टिस डिनाइड। बहुत समय लग जाता है हमारे पूरे जुडिशल सिस्टम में, किसी को भी न्याय मिलने में बहुत टाइम लग जाता है। मैं किसी की तरफ फिंगर पॉइंटिंग नहीं करना चाहता, बिकॉज उसमें हम भी शामिल हैं, सब लोग शामिल हैं। मैं बस ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि और कई कमिटीज़ बन चुकी, इसके पहले कई सारी स्टडीज़ हो चुकी कि क्या करने की ज़रूरत है। शायद कई सारे रूल्स बदलने की ज़रूरत है, कई सारे कानून बदलने की ज़रूरत है, कई सारे प्रोसीजर्स बदलने की ज़रूरत है, फंड्स की ज़रूरत है। तो मैं आज एक बस प्रस्ताव रखना चाहता हूँ। आप सब लोग, हम सब लोग मिलकर दिल्ली को पायलट बना लेते हैं और दिल्ली को पायलट बना के ऐसा सिस्टम बनाते हैं कि दिल्ली के अंदर कोई भी केस, चाहे वो सिविल हो चाहे क्रिमिनल हो, मतलब हो सकता है मैं ऐसी बात कर रहा हूँ कि आपको ठीक ना लगे, पर एक आम आदमी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से कह रहा हूँ कि अगर कोई भी केस 6 महीने से ज़्यादा नहीं चलना चाहिए, प्रेफरेबली तो कुछ दिनों के अंदर ही केसेस निपट जाने चाहिए, लेकिन अगर मैक्सिमम जो है आउटर लिमिट 6 महीने होनी चाहिए। इसके लिए जितने फंड्स की ज़रूरत है, एक बार बैठते हैं, प्रस्ताव बनाते हैं। अगर ये हो सकता है तो मैं इसमें वॉलंटियर करने के लिए तैयार हूँ, मेरी सरकार इसमें वॉलंटियर करने के लिए तैयार है और हम चाहेंगे कि ये सिस्टम सबसे पहले दिल्ली में लागू किया जाए और दिल्ली को पायलट प्रोजेक्ट की तरह ट्रीट करके इसको पूरे देश के अंदर लागू किया जाए। हमने दिल्ली में शिक्षा में जो काम किया वो सब जगह उसकी तारीफ हो रही है, हमने हेल्थ में जो काम किया सब जगह उसकी तारीफ हो रही है, बिजली के क्षेत्र में जो काम किया उसकी तारीफ हो रही है। मैं चाहता हूँ कि जुडिशियल सिस्टम भी दिल्ली से निकले और ये पायलट प्रोजेक्ट जो है पूरे देश और पूरी दुनिया के लिए एक मिसाल बने। आज इस मौके पे मुझे यहाँ आप सबके बीच में रहने का, वैसे तो मैं अपने आप को होस्ट ट्रीट करता हूँ बिकॉज आई एम अ पार्ट ऑफ यू, दिल्ली सरकार का मैं हिस्सा हूँ, पर मुझे आप सब लोगों के बीच आज इस मौके पे, इम्पॉर्टेंट मौके पे रहने का मौका दिया आप लोगों ने। थैंक यू सो मच।
बहुत बहुत आभार माननीय मुख्यमंत्री श्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी का। देवी सज्जनों, दिल्ली सरकार के पीडब्ल्यूडी सहित कई विभागों का बहुत सक्रिय और सकारात्मक सहयोग इस प्रोजेक्ट को मिला है और इसके लिए हम माननीय उपराज्यपाल महोदय, माननीय मुख्यमंत्री महोदय का आभार भी व्यक्त करते हैं। मैं निवेदन करूंगा माननीय उपराज्यपाल राष्ट्रीय राजधानी क्षेत्र दिल्ली श्री विनय कुमार सक्सेना जी से कि वे इस अवसर पर अपने संबोधन के लिए पधारें। माननीय उपराज्यपाल महोदय।
Honorable Chief Justice of India, Mr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud ji, Honorable Union Minister for Law and Justice, Shri Kiren Rijiju ji, Honorable Union Minister for Housing and Urban Affairs, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul ji, Supreme Court of India, Honorable Chief Justice of Delhi High Court, Mr. Justice Satish Chandra Sharma ji, Honorable Chief Minister Shri Arvind Kejriwal ji, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a matter of pleasure and privilege for me to be present on this occasion in the company of hallowed judicial and legal luminaries. The inauguration of new building block complex on the precinct of Delhi High Court, I am sure, will further aid to the cause of justice. At the outset, I would like to thank Honorable Chief Justice of India and Honorable Chief Justice of Delhi High Court for having given me this opportunity to be present on this momentous occasion of inauguration of new building blocks. It is only befitting that the High Court of Delhi in the national capital of India should be replete with state-of-art and modern physical infrastructure. Your lordships and friends from the legal fraternity in the audience, to my mind, efficient administration and speedy delivery of justice is a collective responsibility of all arms and pillars of our constitutional democracy. Even as the judiciary, with the Honorable Supreme Court at its head, remains the pivotal cornerstone and arch of justice and jurisprudence in India, it is the responsibility of the executive and the legislature as well to do all possible in the aid of the judiciary so as to ensure the sine qua non of a speedy and efficient justice delivery. As pointed out and underlined by many honorable judges and jurists on different occasions, the problem in India's justice delivery system are to a fairly large extent due to what has been described as poor infrastructure. It is empirically established that there is a proportional correlation between availability of infrastructure, be it sufficient courtrooms, chambers, support staff, sanitation facilities, digital connectivity, and productivity in the delivery of justice. A court's infrastructure can have an overwhelming impact on the quality of justice dispensed. Adequate infrastructure positively impacts the productivity of honorable judges, administrative staff, as indeed advocates and counselors. It is in my brief stint as Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, I have, in my limited capacity, tried my best to aid in the augmentation of physical infrastructure and human resource in supporting roles in the course of functioning in Delhi. we recently approved the Honorable High Court's proposal for selection of a support staff through the Delhi Subordinate Service Selection Board, despite the fact that such selection was not the mandate of the board. This, I hope, would ensure speedy appointments to the vacant positions and serve the needs of the courts. Similarly, to clear the huge backlog of cases registered in the Negotiable Instrument Act in city courts, we facilitated the hiring of judicial officers and clerical and supporting staff in 5 special courts on contract basis as a pilot project to examine the efficacy and additional requirements of staff or resources in future. The Lokayukt in Delhi, which had since its inception in 1996, not had a dedicated senior level officer to head its investigation. Only last month, we provided with an officer of sufficient seniority to head its investigation services. Dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, even as such steps are minuscule drops in the ocean, my purpose is to underline that we are fully seized of matters related to the functional requirement of our honorable courts, and we will do every bit to fulfill our responsibilities in this regard. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
बहुत बहुत आभार माननीय उपराज्यपाल महोदय का। दिव्य सूचनों में निवेदन करूंगा माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय के माननीय न्यायाधीश ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस संजय किशन कौल जी से, जिनका स्नेह और जिनका मार्गदर्शन हम सबको सदैव मिलता है और उससे हम सबको प्रेरणा भी मिलती है। इस अवसर पर वे अपने संबोधन के लिए पधारें।
Honorable Chief Justice of India, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, other eminent people on and off the dais, my brother judges from the Supreme Court, my colleagues from the High Court, very good evening to all of you. It's always a wonderful feeling to come back to a place where you have spent more than 3 decades of your life, whether this side of the bar or the other side. And घर आना हमेशा अच्छा ही लगता है, so इसलिए it's a great opportunity for me to be here amongst all of you. The infrastructure creation in Delhi High Court has been a continuing exercise over a period of time. I had the opportunity to work with it from a very early stages of my judgeship. And in some way, I laid the seed so far as the last 2 buildings were concerned in 2013 before I left Delhi. It was a collaborative effort of the bar and the bench, as I emphasized, that time headed by Mr. Chandrachud. And it's such a wonderful feeling to see the seed grow into a huge tree, huge effort made by judges after judges in different committees who contributed to create this top-level infrastructure. But I'm proud of the infrastructure, which is the hardware. But I'm also very proud of the software, which is the members of the bench here who deliver justice and the members of the bar who assist in giving justice. And it's a matter of pride that both the bar and the bench have produced some of the best contributory effort in terms of creation of law, for which this hardware is built or the structure is built. Delhi has been a place which has been never short of talent. And it's something I've always felt that we must try to see that these institutions are fully manned, because having the infrastructure of this kind is fully utilizable if there are full strength of judges to do so. So that's a reverse request I always make wherever I go, or more so in Delhi, which is my parent court. The developments of this infrastructure would help in so many ways, and the International Arbitration Center from which we were taken out has truly created the international level infrastructure facilities. I'm sure the bar, the bench, with this facility, will keep on performing the task which is well recognized, create more law, create more judgments, clear the areas. As the president of the bar said, I can repeat that. So far as I'm concerned, whatever you're doing, dil mange more. So always the pride of being a part of this court has weighed with me. And have a good evening, enjoy yourself, and create more effort and work out of it. Thank you.
बहुत बहुत आभार ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस संजय किशन कौल का, उनकी प्रेजेंस, उनकी ब्लेसिंग्स, उनके गुड विशेस के लिए और गाइडेंस के लिए भी। मैं अब निवेदन करूंगा भारत सरकार के ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर फॉर हाउसिंग एंड अर्बन अफेयर्स माननीय श्री हरदीप सिंह पुरी जी से कि वे इस अवसर पर अपने संबोधन के लिए पधारें।
Chief Justice of India, Honorable Justice Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud ji, my colleague, Minister of Law and Justice, Shri Kiren Rijiju ji, Chief Minister of Delhi, Shri Arvind Kejriwal ji, Judge Supreme Court of India, Justice Sanjay Krishan Kaul ji, Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, Shri Vinay Kumar Saxena ji, the Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court, Justice Satish Chandra Sharma ji, Judge of the Delhi High Court, Justice Manmohan ji, President of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, Shri Mohit Mathur ji, members of the judiciary, members of the bar, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever I am invited to a function, any function, I ask myself a very simple and a very basic question. Why are the organizers inviting me to that particular function? This is a bit of vetting I do in my own mind. Now, I notice here that I'm not amidst you because I'm the Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas. I'm here because I'm the Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs. And along with the invitation, which was very graciously delivered on behalf of the Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court who called me, along came a committee of, and its head was sitting right here, along with another member, to deliver the invitation in kind. And the opportunity was not lost. I was told, but I did not have to be told, because I'm a Delhi wala. I was born in the city. I went to university here. I've grown up here, even though I spent many years outside. If there's home anywhere, it is Delhi. So I don't need to be told how cramped the courts are, let's say, in one part of Delhi. Let's say, by way of an example, the Patiala House courts. But I just want to place on record that I appreciate that kind of advocacy. And I want to place on record that I take great pleasure and delight when I'm invited to participate in the inauguration of any building which conforms to modern or reflects modern sustainability norms, modern yardsticks of efficiency. And it stands to reason if the higher courts are housed in buildings of this kind, the productivity level will go up. I mean, that goes without saying. And at a time when we are in the process of rebuilding Delhi, and I mean that literally. Arvindji, of course, made a speech which I can always relate to. He's a very close friend of mine. So he said he's very proud of his Delhi education model, the Delhi, what did you say, the health model. And then he was also added he wants to make Delhi a pilot judicial model also. I'm going to put that aside. But I can tell you one thing. The population of Delhi in the year of the Lord 2011, according to the census, was 1.67 crores. And I think the population in the next census, when we come up, will be 2 crores or thereabouts. Now, large parts of Delhi are being rebuilt. The people who live in JJ clusters, I mean, there are about 367 of them under the DDA. They're going to be they're being surveyed, rebuilt, jahan jugi, wahi makan. The ones which are under DUSIP, 299, I'll suggest to the Honorable Chief Minister that he should also conduct the surveys. By the way, I offered, if you're not, we're going to do it. So that's on a lighter aside. People, out of the 2 crore people, about 1 crore 35 lakhs will get new housing. People in DDA houses, DDA flats were built in Delhi when the FAR was 133. Today it's 200 under the master plan, which the Honorable Lieutenant Governor will share with you. We are planning to take it up even up to 400. Those are the public consultations. So it stands to reason that the courts, especially the higher judiciary, the Delhi High Court, etc., should be made more comfortable in that. And with or without your inviting me to this function, you have an ally in me. So that's what I wanted to place on record. Look, I'm acutely conscious of the role that the judiciary plays in a vibrant democracy. The roots of this were laid in the Constitution of India. Barring one period when civil liberties were dispensed with, which was a dark period, the foundation pillars of democracy, whether it's the political executive, judiciary, or the press, they have functioned with responsibility and maturity. And that is a trend I think we all want to encourage. The achievements of our country as we celebrate 75 years of independence and we look forward to the next 25 years, which the Honorable Prime Minister called the Amrit Kal of India's development, I think pose a special opportunity for us. We are already the 5th largest economy in the world. 2 months ago, we overtook the country which had colonial domination over us for 190 years. We have now overtaken them to become the 5th largest economy. As we go ahead, one report, Stanley Morgan said that by the next 4 or 5 years, we will be the 3rd largest economy in the world. Even if we get a few things wrong, we will still get there. We'll be an $8-9 trillion economy by 26, 27, 28. Clearly, that means that the entire governance architecture, which includes all sections, whether it's not just Kartavya Path, a new parliament that you're getting, extra space for the judiciary, for the executive, all that has to go hand in hand and will take place. My own experience in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, with which I have had the privilege of being associated for the last 5.5 years nearly, is that digitization has become a very powerful tool in the ensuring that the benefits of development reach the poorest of the poor. I mean, that is the philosophy behind the Agenda 2030 in the United Nations. That is the philosophy behind all of the Prime Minister's schemes, Sarvodaya and Antodaya. You have to reach to those who feel more marginalized. And justice, I believe, is very crucial in all that. And I think as the Honorable Chief Minister talked about Nyaya for the Aam Aadmi, but justice for all sections of the people. So I think if a infrastructure is required, you should have the best infrastructure. Sanjay ji talked about hardware and software. I think by hardware he meant infrastructure, and by software is all these brilliant people sitting here. Now, I have been a great admirer of the judiciary. I take great pride when I come across judgments which, provide nothing but sheer joy and delight, because there's been application of mind to take some stuff which comes before the courts, and then somebody has the incisive knife which cuts through this and said, this is the real thing. And that's what enriches democracies. I don't want to go into names of those from whom one has benefited, but this court has thrown up some of the finest legal luminaries. They have gone on, not only served with distinction here, they've gone on to the apex court. But also that there is a human dimension involved. I recall a recent court proceeding in which the Honorable Chief Justice of India had an interaction with a senior advocate about the courts being more accessible for lawyers or persons with visual disabilities. I think it was Sri S.K. Rangta. The chair of the E-Committee of the Supreme Court of India, the Chief Justice, naturally took an interest in how this particular gentleman who had a visual disability, has a disability, managed court affairs. And it was heartening to hear the gentleman's suggestions on the subject, as well as the fact that many inclusive developments through digitization had already been undertaken to ensure that the courts become more disability friendly. And Chief Justice, I hope I will not be divulging any thing, but you said this, and not only to me, but to others. You said you spent the entire day with somebody from the world of technology to see how technology could be applied in the functioning of the Supreme Court. So these are issues which I think we should all draw great strength from. And all I can do is I've completely strayed off the my written text. As you see, I'm blabbering on. But the last para of my written text was, the march of India to be a developed country will not only be only world-class infrastructure, but where every Indian, especially the most vulnerable, is part of that story. Antyodaya se Sarvodaya will be the clarion call for that march. And I think more strength to your elbow. May you continue to serve not only the cause of justice, but delivering that justice which is a basic requirement, a basic service on which a society gets its thing. So thank you very much for including me. If the purpose was to seek an ally, I think both the Chief Minister and the Honorable Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, all three of us will support you in the endeavor to get more space. By the way, land is a state subject. So, Chief Minister, you made promises today. We'll hold you to those. And I, in particular, have a long agenda with you. So, but from the central government side, we will help you. Thank you very much.
बहुत बहुत आभार माननीय श्री हरदीप सिंह पुरी जी का, केंद्रीय मंत्री महोदय का। देव सज्जनों, देश के विधि और न्याय मंत्री के रूप में श्री किरेन रिजिजू का हमें सदैव सहयोग मिलता है, उनका समर्थन मिलता है, मार्गदर्शन प्राप्त होता है। आज इस अवसर पर उनकी गरिमामयी उपस्थिति है। मैं उनसे निवेदन करूंगा कि इस अवसर पर श्री किरेन रिजिजू अपने कीनोट एड्रेस के लिए पधारें। माननीय केंद्रीय विधि एवं न्याय मंत्री महोदय।
Honorable Chief Justice of India, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Honorable Union Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs, Hardeep Singh Puri ji, Honorable Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Honorable Judges of Supreme Court, His Excellency V.K. Saxena ji, Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, Sri Arvind Kejriwal ji, Honorable Chief Minister of Delhi, Honorable Chief Justice of Delhi High Court, S.C. Sharma ji, Honorable Judges of Delhi High Court, law officers, Mohit Mathur ji, and his colleague, senior lawyers present here, the staff of Delhi High Court, and the other invitees present here. I am delighted to be part of this wonderful function, and of course, this beautiful S block building inauguration. This is really a very special block, and the facilities and the architecture, which we just went through briefly, I can definitely say that this is one of the most modern court buildings in our country. And I must thank the architect as well as the other technical team for making such a beautiful building. We all know everybody wants to work in a beautiful building. And whenever we go to any city, there are some very defining architecture or buildings. When we go to Supreme Court, of course, I have not been inside the Supreme Court room, but I have seen the Supreme Court building and the Chief Justice chamber. You feel nice. You feel proud that our Supreme Court building is beautiful. Whenever I go to states, I see the High Court buildings. Some of the High Court buildings in India are marvelous. Some of the High Court buildings I have seen only in pictures yet. I have yet to visit some of the High Courts, but I have seen. In a modern time, the concept of the good building has changed. So you have to create many more things and add to make the building beautiful and modern. So being in the national capital, we expect the buildings in Delhi to be good. And of course, I'm also very happy to see the lawyers' chambers. the lawyers' chambers are very important, along with the courtrooms, because the lawyer has to feel comfortable while discharging his duties. He should not be made to struggle to conduct his duties. So it is such a heartwarming, but I'm told that still Mohit Mathur is in the waiting list. I hope he gets his room. He's senior enough. I'm wondering why he's not in the senior list yet. But anyway, the numbers of lawyers are very high in Delhi High Court. Delhi itself, I think, has the highest numbers of lawyers, if you see in terms of ratio with the population. When I went to Tis Hazari Court last year, I think Justice Mridul, Justice Suresh Kate, and I think Justice I think Rekapalli ji, or maybe Justice, I forgot, some of the judges were there. I thought I was addressing a public rally. There's so many lawyers, thousands and thousands. So definitely, I can understand the constraint of this space. But with the support of everyone, with the state government and the central government, we can definitely meet up at least half of the expectations. Now, we all know that judicial infrastructure in our country is in a not very appreciable condition. If you see in the Supreme Court, Chief Justice told me that except the Chief Justice courtroom and maybe some of the senior judges, the other Supreme Court judges' courtrooms are small compared to even some of the High Court courtrooms. We need to have the appropriate room for our judges. Now, we have a defined role. Central government cannot do much for the High Court infrastructure. As per the roles defined, it is the state government who has to bear the expenditure for the hard infrastructure. But having said that, we will always be there as a team. And along with central government support, we are doing many things under the leadership of the Supreme Court in terms of digitizing the entire court process. Today, after coming back from my tour, I had a very detailed meeting about how the e-court project should take shape. And very soon, I'm going to sit with the Chief Justice and the whole team from the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and the NIC team. Honorable Chief Justice is already aware of the thing because he's heading the E-Committee for a long time. I also have made a request to him that before he demits the chair of E-Committee, he should put everything in shape, because for a new person to understand the concept, it takes time. And recently, in the during the Constitution Day celebration, another day was devoted along with all the honorable judges of the Supreme Court and the Chief Justice, as well as the E-Committee heads of the High Courts. So enough deliberation was made, because I clearly see that in the very near future, the Indian judiciary will go paperless. And the lawyers should be prepared for that. I have already conveyed to my law officers that very soon our law officers will have to go paperless. When we talk about judicial, which is totally digital, then it will have a huge impact on the justice delivery mechanism itself. And the process itself takes so much of time. I try to analyze where is the bottleneck. When we take, the numbers, now it's inching towards 5 crore pendency. It's a matter of great concern. And I have to keep replying in the parliament and elsewhere. It's very difficult for me to really answer how to ensure that this figure of 5 crore, it's about to reach 5 crore. I'm at the present rate, maybe it will take another couple of months to reach the 5 crore figure, which doesn't sound nice. So the process which I have identified, if we can streamline the entire platforms need to be put into single window system, and we need to synchronize the entire system. And in one click, everything can be settled. Today, for the want of some papers, some synchronization of certain materials, it takes so much of time than the delivery of justice itself. Today also I got a message that Madras High Court had created a record number of judgment in a single day. I think 2 benches did a wonderful job. This kind of reports really make me very happy, feel me excited. I feel that dependency in the high courts and the Supreme Court will come down. But the real challenge is in the lower court. And the infrastructure in the lower court is the real challenge for me. And that is the responsibility of the central government and state governments together. So we have enough of budgetary allocation made this year. Along with the lawyers' halls and the residential units, we have already added from this year the toilets, the digital computer rooms, lawyers' hall. These are very important. So with the new extension of the central sponsored schemes, which the cabinet had approved last year, we are going to see transformation in the judicial infrastructure standards in the lower courts. I have visited some of the courts in the country. I am very impressed, but some of the courts are very pathetic. I feel ashamed. Last month I was in Pahalgam in Kashmir. A beautiful court is under construction, well on time. So I appreciated the Chief Justice, the contractors, the officers there. Beautiful. I told the district judge that you are lucky that you will be sitting in this room, overviewing the beautiful river flowing there, pristine forest, and there is the beautiful courtroom. So we need to make the judiciary interesting. We need to make it more, people friendly. People should be able to come. There should be waiting rooms. There should be some benches. Court complex should be a place where one should feel at ease. These are certain things I really look at from the common man's angle, that we need to make Indian judiciary attractive, the buildings beautiful, and make all the facilities available for the honorable judges and the learned advocates. This is a combined effort we will take. And last Chief Justice and Chief Minister's conference, we had taken certain decision with regards to creation of judicial infrastructure. Yesterday, I received the letter from the Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court, nominating one of the senior judges as the representative of the High Court, who will deal with the Chief Minister and the state government to tackle the challenges of the judicial infrastructure. So I'm going to tell the Chief Minister also that kindly work together and create a committee as soon as possible. The E-committee, the building committee is already there. That same judge can head the committee also. In the similar manner, central government, the judiciary and state government, we are all together. Today, the Honorable Chief Minister also mentioned about his government's commitment. I'm happy Delhi, being the national capital of India, cannot afford to have second-class judicial infrastructure. I'm happy that we all are together, and I'm so happy to be part of this great function. We will remember for a long time to come that a beautiful, one of the most beautiful court buildings in the country has come up in Delhi. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you very much.
बहुत बहुत आभार माननीय श्री किरण रिजिजू का। देवर सज्जनों, भारत के माननीय मुख्य न्यायाधीश ऑनरेबल डॉक्टर जस्टिस DY चंद्रचूड़ आज हम सबके बीच मुख्य अतिथि के रूप में यहाँ विराजमान है। हम सब के लिए बहुत सौभाग्य की बात है। न्याय के प्रति महोदय आपका मानवीय चिंतन और पूरी न्यायिक प्रक्रिया में आपका जो मार्गदर्शन हम सबको मिलता है वो हमारे लिए सबसे बड़ा प्रेरणा का स्रोत है। इस अवसर पर आपकी उपस्थिति को नमन करते हुए मैं निवेदन करूंगा ऑनरेबल चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया ऑनरेबल डॉक्टर जस्टिस DY चंद्रचूड़ से कि इस अवसर पर अपने प्रेसिडेंशियल एड्रेस के लिए पधारें और इस अवसर पर हम सबका अपने संबोधन के माध्यम से मार्गदर्शन करें, अपना शुभ संदेश हम सबको दें।
Good evening to everyone. The Honorable Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, Shri Vinay Kumar Saxena ji, Honorable Minister of Law and Justice, Shri Kiren Rijiju ji, the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri, Honorable Chief Minister of the Government of NCT of Delhi, Shri Arvind Kejriwal, my very distinguished fellow brother judges, Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Justice Sanjeev Khanna, Justice Bhushan Gavai, Justice Vikram Nath, Justice Abhay, Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court, Justice Satish Chandra Sharma, members of the Delhi High Court Building, Maintenance and Construction Committee led by Justice Manmohan, all the judges of the Delhi High Court, President of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, Shri Mohit Mathur, and all those present here. I'm truly honored to be here in your midst this evening, together with all the officers and staff of the High Court, the representatives of the Delhi government, the architect, and everyone whose hard work has made this evening possible. Congratulations to the entire team of the Building Maintenance and Construction Committee who ably guided the Public Works Department team and their architect, Mr. Gunmeet Chauhan, whose vision has made the 2013 dream of enhancing the capacity of the High Court of Delhi a reality with the inauguration of the S Block building. I was a young lad of 12 or 13 when the Delhi High Court building was inaugurated and when the transition happened from the small circuit court to the established building for the Delhi High Court. And I still remember my mother coming back from the event that morning and sharing with my father that what we saw today is not a tin shed High Court building as we are used to seeing across the country, but she said it's a 5-star hotel. And I was wondering how we could term this building today. Should we go to a 7-star hotel or perhaps something even more significant? But then we have to place all this in the perspective. Since 1966, the Delhi High Court has been a witness to some of the most legally challenging and landmark cases in Indian legal history. The intellectual rigor of all the brilliant minds at the bar and the bench who have dedicated their lives to the Delhi High Court has helped it truly to become an institution of preeminence, which continues to contribute to India's legal jurisprudence. The belief held by common citizens that if they approach the Delhi High Court, they will secure justice is a testament to this institution's commitment to the constitutional goals of justice, ensuring that it remains fair, accessible, affordable, and quick. So this building, in that sense, combines the modern with the democratic. The Delhi High Court itself is a whiff of fresh air in the state corridors of jurisprudence. It's a court of equity, and it's a court of relief for citizens, even in the most difficult of times. And it is in that context that I viewed what the architect said of the 3 basic parameters which guided this building in its design: contextual architecture, climate change resilience, and demographic architecture. Perhaps we can transplant those concepts to the soil of jurisprudence. Our jurisprudence has to be contextual to be able to meet the challenges of the time. Resilience in the face of climate change both physically and metaphorically. And jurisprudence which meets the demographic changes which are overtaking our times as we increasingly become a young society. The constitutionally recognized right to access to justice, which is embodied in Article 14, Article 21, and Article 39A, breathes life into the principle of the rule of law. Fairness, equality, efficiency, and impartiality are inherent in our understanding of access to justice. In order to make sure that we are providing equal access to justice, attention must be paid to the design and administration of the judicial setup. An important component of actualizing the right of access to justice is ensuring that we have adequate judicial infrastructure, including physical and digital infrastructure and personnel strength. And where best to begin I think we have to begin at the grassroots, where our district judiciary is situated. Because it is really our district judiciary which has the immediate impact on the lives of common citizens, where people in distress come as a point of first contact, seeking solutions to their problems of daily life. And I think that is where we are really 70 years down the line, deeply and deeply in want. Because if we contemplate of buildings where an accused is led into a dungeon to be waiting for the whole day with no toilet facilities, I think that really is the true face of the district judiciary which we need to resolve. Because I always do believe that much as we would like to have the best infrastructure in the capital city, I think India also survives much beyond the capital. I think it is there that we need to focus our attention as we go forward. One of the goals of the e-courts project is to provide qualitative and speedy justice through efficient court management. A positive correlation between judicial infrastructure and the quality and speed dispensation of justice has long been established. The National Mission for Justice Delivery and Legal Reform states that adequate judicial infrastructure is a precondition for reducing delays. Traditionally, judicial spaces have been used to contribute to the idea of the majesty of the law. Court complexes built during the colonial times were used to create an imposing effect over the public, restricting the access to an exclusive few. The architecture of our buildings was intended to produce a sense of fear and awe, and the divide between those who dispense justice and those to whom justice was delivered was intended to create that sense of fear and awe in the consumers of justice. However, our understanding of justice has now drastically changed, and our efforts are now concentrated on reaching out to people, as opposed to people reaching out to us in all the work that we do as judges and lawyers. Judicial spaces are considered to be public or civic spaces, and thus spaces which should be universally accessible. The symbolism of court complexes helps in materializing justice, making it tangible and corporeal for citizens who come from far and wide. The courtroom, whether physical or virtual, provides a setting where the search for justice takes place for the citizen. The increasing judicial work in the Delhi High Court put pressure on the already hard-pressed existing infrastructure, leading to the requirement to construct additional buildings in the form of C block and S block. The magnificent building of S block boasts of over 200 law chambers, as we saw a short while ago, a judicial convention center and an auditorium, a place for the Delhi International Arbitration Center, space for administrative offices, and parking facilities, common meeting rooms, a cafeteria, open green spaces. All these would definitely provide an enabling and stress-free environment for litigants and lawyers to discuss and collaborate. Because we must face the fact and reality that court spaces are spaces of stress for common citizens. They're not spaces where common citizens come to enjoy their lives. They come to places which they would rather not come to, because they come to places because they are face to face with dispute. Therefore, these spaces and a dedicated space for the Delhi International Arbitration Center in the S block constitute a step in the right direction for strengthening the practice of ADR in the country. It sends a positive signal to the domestic and international commercial world. A term which has been repeatedly used to describe the newly constructed S block of the High Court of Delhi is that it personifies democratic architecture with open offices, pedestrian paths, seating space equity, and universal accessibility. Louis Sullivan, a prominent American architect who is perhaps best known for this aphorism, "Form follows function," once said, that the spirit of democracy is a function-seeking expression in organized social form. Therefore, arrange your architecture for democracy, not feudalism. And what better example can you have than this building today of the Delhi High Court, which has replaced the traditional domes with rectangular spaces so typical of modern functionalism as we see it today. While I am no expert in the science of architecture and cannot claim to understand what this phrase means for the architects, I do want to emphasize that our judicial system and courtrooms must be democratic, inclusive, and equally accessible. Their design must accommodate people from diverse backgrounds, ensuring meaningful participation. On the 26th and 27th of November, we celebrated Constitution Day by deliberating and discussing different mechanisms on how to enhance the justice delivery system. While issues faced by each High Court differ, there was a consensus that we must create a multitude of equitable ways for different groups: women, Dalits, the marginalized groups, the LGBTQ plus community, persons with disabilities, the elderly, and the poor, to engage and participate in the process of adjudication in a meaningful way. I must share with you that the journey or the travel from the Supreme Court towards the S Block boasts of an impressive edifice nestled harmoniously with its surroundings of India Gate, the Akash Air Force Mess, the National Gallery of Modern Art, and Sheshar Suri's Gate. These made me think that the S Block is built where it was always supposed to be. Inaugurating this modern and state-of-the-art building of S Block fills me as a judge and a person who has got very little in life except the commitment to the cause of justice, to fill with immense pride, since it truly symbolizes that our justice delivery system is ready for the future. Today truly is a proud moment for all the stakeholders of the High Court. The Delhi High Court's commitment to justice is exemplified by the newly inaugurated S Block. I do believe it really signifies, in a very symbolic way, the ability of this court to be truly as a front runner in dispensing speedy, equitable, and fearless justice to our citizens. It's a High Court to which I looked up to when I was a young lawyer. It's a High Court to which I looked up to as a judge of the Delhi High Court, as a judge of the Bombay High Court, and then as a Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court. And we look up to the Delhi High Court for its new jurisprudence, which is emerging every now and then. Once again, I extend my wholehearted congratulations to the Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court, Justice Satish Chandra Sharma, to everyone in the Buildings Committee, and all of you who have collaborated together to produce this architectural marvel. This couldn't have been possible except for the dedicated effort of all the laborers who strove to achieve what they have achieved in terms of a modern building for the future. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's been a great honor to be here.
बहुत बहुत आभार ऑनरेबल डॉक्टर जस्टिस डी.वाई. चंद्रचूड़ का, उनके प्रेजेंस के लिए, उनके ब्लेसिंग्स, उनका मार्गदर्शन जो हम सब के लिए बहुत मायने रखता है। देवी सज्जनों, ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस मनमोहन की अध्यक्षता में दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट के बिल्डिंग मेंटेनेंस और कंस्ट्रक्शन कमेटी के प्रयासों की इतनी सुंदर परिणति जो हुई है वो हम सब के लिए बहुत सौभाग्य की बात है। मैं निवेदन करूंगा ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस मनमोहन से कि वे आभार व्यक्त करने के लिए पधारें, धन्यवाद के लिए पधारें।
Respected Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Chief Justice of India, Honorable Shri Kiren Rijiju ji, Honorable Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, Honorable Justice Sanjay Krishan Kaul, Honorable Justice Sanjeev Khanna, Honorable Justice Gawai, Honorable Justice Mr. Vikram Nath, Honorable Justice Ms. Hema Kohli, Honorable Justice Oak, Honorable Shri Vinay Kumar Saxena ji, Honorable Shri Arvind Kejriwal, Honorable Chief Justice Mr. Satish Chandra Sharma ji, brother and sister judges, members of the legal fraternity, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening. On behalf of Delhi High Court, I earnestly thank the Honorable Chief Justice of India for inaugurating the S Block. We are fully cognizant of the fact that you have a number of pressing issues to deal with. Sir, your presence means a lot to us. Many thanks for sparing your valuable time at short notice. Delhi High Court has a reputation amongst the legal community for pushing the envelope when it comes to the legal frontiers. This building is an instance of this intellectual property right being extended to infrastructure projects. This building incorporates contextual and green architecture with a modern sensibility of a rectangular colonnade mounted on an imposing podium of stone to establish a stately and majestic face of the Delhi High Court. A number of green measures have been incorporated to ensure that our energy bills are low and our water consumption is optimal. In the near future, a skywalk shall be constructed to ensure seamless connectivity of all the buildings within the entire complex. I am very happy to inform the audience that the Union of India and GNCTD share the vision of this court that public infrastructure and public assets must be the best. In fact, this building is a new benchmark in judicial infrastructure as well as public architecture made possible by the support of Union of India as well as the Government of Delhi. Many thanks to Mr. Kiren Rijiju, Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri, Mr. Saxena, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, and Finance Minister of Delhi for sparing the land and the finances. Though this building may seem opulent, but its cost in per square foot area is equivalent to what a regular government building costs. It is just that some very good decisions were made by the architect and the PWD team, which were blessed by the then members of the Delhi High Court Building Maintenance and Construction Committee. For instance, in this building, there has been a careful stratification in material selection, where front of the house areas are premium and back of the house areas are robust and frugal. I would be failing in my duty if I were not to recognize and acknowledge the role played by the past chairpersons of the Delhi High Court Building Maintenance and Construction Committee, including Justice A.K. Sikri, Justice Sanjay Krishan Kaul, Justice Ravinder Bhatt, Justice Hima Kohli, and Justice Sastani. Justice Sanjeev Khanna was an active member of this committee for nearly 7 years. Many thanks to all of you for your wise and sagacious decisions. Our Chief Justice has been a pillar of strength. He has always encouraged us to take quick decisions and never interfered with our working. I also thank my other committee members, Honorable Justice Rajiv Shakdar, Justice Jasmeet Singh, Justice Dinesh Kumar Sharma. They have all worked very hard, and it's been my pleasure and privilege to work with them. The Delhi High Court Bar Association has been very helpful. All decisions have been taken by consensus, including the decision to increase the quota of allocation of chambers to persons with disability from 3% to 5%. Many thanks to the office bearers of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, both present and past. My only request to the bar and the bench is that we must utilize the newly created infrastructure like this auditorium and arbitration center to the fullest extent possible. Our demands and needs of living institutions are insatiable and always on the increase. Even after allocation of half of this building to lawyers as chambers, we have been able to allocate chambers to lawyers enrolled till August 1992. Many of our branches are still operating from dark basements. We have nearly constructed to the fullest extent possible. We have virtually no land for carrying out any fresh construction. The Delhi High Court Building Maintenance and Construction Committee has asked the PWD and the architect to prepare a master plan for the next 25 years. According to the architect and the PWD, the High Court needs more land in the neighborhood immediately. we would request the GNCTD and the Union of India to honestly examine this request. As Robert Frost said, I have miles to go before I sleep. Consequently, though we have achieved a lot, yet we have a lot to achieve. Let me say in the end, ladies and gentlemen, that without you, this function would not have been what it turned out to be. I thank you all for participating with enthusiasm. Thank you very much.
बहुत बहुत आभार। देवेश सज्जनों, एक बार पुनः आप सभी को इस अत्याधुनिक स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट एस ब्लॉक के उद्घाटन की हार्दिक बधाई। कार्यक्रम के अंतिम चरण में आप सबसे प्रार्थना है, आइए हम सब अपने अपने स्थान पर राष्ट्रगान के लिए खड़े हों।
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा। विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा। तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मांगे। गाहे तव जय गाथा, जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
आप सभी का बहुत बहुत आभार। देवी और सज्जनों, एक बार पुनः ऑनरेबल चीफ जस्टिस दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट ऑनरेबल मिस्टर जस्टिस सतीश चंद्र शर्मा जी और कंपेनियन जजेस की ओर से बहुत बहुत आभार। ऑनरेबल डॉक्टर जस्टिस DY चंद्रचूड़ और सभी डिग्निटरीज का, ऑनरेबल सभी सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जजेस, हाई कोर्ट के जजेस, आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है कि पहले ऑनरेबल डिग्निटरीज को स्टेज से पहले जाने वो प्रस्थान करेंगे और ऑनरेबल जजेस ऑफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट एंड हाई कोर्ट वो प्रस्थान करेंगे। उसके बाद हम लोग यहाँ से प्रस्थान करेंगे और आप सबसे हम रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे, आपकी राइट साइड में गेट है, वहाँ से आप जजेस लाउंज के लिए प्रोसीड करेंगे हाई टी के लिए। वहाँ सभी आप सबको हम इनवाइट करते हैं कि आप हाई टी के लिए वहाँ पधारें जजेस लाउंज में। इसी फ्लोर पर आपकी राइट साइड से एग्जिट है उसका, मिडिल गेट से। आज के इस कार्यक्रम में यहाँ पधारने के लिए आप सभी का बहुत बहुत आभार। विशेष रूप से माननीय डॉक्टर जस्टिस DY चंद्रचूड़ जो मुख्य अतिथि के रूप में हम सबके बीच पधारे। इसके अलावा ऑनरेबल विधि और न्याय मंत्री श्री किरण रिजिजू, ऑनरेबल हाउसिंग एंड अर्बन अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर हरदीप